death, and aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney.
I'm NK.
And how are you?
I am okay. I am pretty sure Panera gave me food poisoning.
Oh no.
Um,
What'd you get?
they have a new Monte Carlo sandwich.
Oh, I
Or
saw that.
Monte,
I
or
wanted to try
not.
it so bad.
Okay, but I don't think it's like Panera in general. I think it's the Panera, obviously, that we ordered from. So Dan and I ordered dinner Friday night at like probably 8 o'clock. It was a rough day for both of us, like at work. A lot of stuff happened. There was drama. By the time it was like time for dinner, neither of us had the energy or wherewithal to cook anything. But it was also so late that like whatever we ordered was gonna be not good. So we were
Right.
like, well, at least like with Panera, it's not Burger King. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's also just a new season. I was just gonna get soup, but they just switched over the seasonal menus, so the baked potato soup is gone, which, yeah,
Travesty.
travesty. So we ordered, and first of all, it was the most confusing thing that ever happened in our entire lives. Because they sent us an email saying that they canceled our order and refunded our money. But then we got a notification on the app that the driver was on the way. Very confused. So then we're like, it's now 9 o'clock, and we're like, are we getting food? Are we not
Right.
getting food? Like,
Like, do we just make a sandwich at home at this point?
right, like what do I crack open a can of soup and like eat garbage? Like, I don't know what's
Mhm.
happening. Um, so the delivery gets there and we take everything out. First of all, there's a whole meal that is not ours in the bag.
It was for me.
It was luckily just a grilled cheese sandwich, so we just ate it. But
Sure.
Dan ordered his meal. And also, remember, Dan used to work at Panera. He's very particular about what he eats from Panera. He ordered a sandwich and he super customized it because they took what he actually wanted off his menu, the menu. And he added a different sauce with extra sauce. They put zero sauces on his sandwich.
That is rude.
Rude. And then I got the Monte Carlo order, and it was okay. Like it was not bad. The onion Gruyere was like overpowering. Like the onion Gruyere like mixture was overpowering and it didn't taste as hammy or cheesy as you want. Uh,
I wouldn't care for that then.
so I didn't love it. But also like so at this point we're eating, it's so late. I don't even know what's happening. I go to bed and all of a sudden I cannot breathe. And I think what happened was I started to throw up before I woke up.
Mhm.
Because then I continued to vomit and want to die. And poor Dan was trying to be helpful and hold my hair back, but my hair is so short now that he couldn't hold my hair and have me close enough to the toilet to actually be throwing up. So I was like, please just stop touching me. Let me
Just
die.
go away.
Let's just let me die in peace. But like it was wild. And then I was also like sick for the rest of the weekend and I had really bad like digestive tract issues yesterday where like I almost called my doctor.
You
And
eat a
I was
seed?
what?
You eat a seed?
Well, I don't know. I think I must have eaten something because it was bad. It was like
I wonder,
really,
did your grilled cheese have mustard on it? Like, did they do like a grain mustard on it?
I don't think so. But maybe there's something Dijon mixed into the onion stuff that had seeds in it and I didn't know. Like I genuinely don't know, but I was ill all weekend. It was bad. So then today at work, we were going for our lunch break and we went to Tropical Smoothie. And all of a sudden, Chrissy goes, oh my God, I can't believe I brought you to Tropical Smoothie. Everything here can kill you. I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's fine. And I had just a smoothie. I got food from another place, but I had just a smoothie. And I got their Mocha Madness smoothie, which is chocolate, coffee, cappuccino, and yogurt. And then I added peanut butter.
Mhm.
And when I tell you that was the most life-changing thing ever.
I've never been there. We have one, but I've never been to them. I think they're all like in New Orleans. I don't know if we have any battery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like $10 smoothies. So like you gotta be
We also have a
committed.
Smoothie King too. But
Yeah.
that I would try it once and give it a shot.
But yes, so I had a chocolate peanut butter smoothie today that changed my life. But then also that means I didn't take a nap because I had had all my coffee and then had a doubly caffeinated chocolate peanut butter smoothie.
Mhm. Oh God, the dream.
So I'm in a weird place. How are you?
Same. Also in a weird place. I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube, but I'm just like changing foods out as I'm sitting here. It's been a long day. Um, Rachel's at the end of her baby having, so we're like knocking out reports for work.
Yeah.
And so I was up late working on reports last night, and then I was late to work today because I was watching Clarice this morning. And then we had a surprise baby shower for her today, so I also had to like bring all this baby shower stuff that was like left over from the last shower, which is fine. That's what I said I was gonna do because I wanted people to stop asking me what we needed to do. I was like, I'm just bringing this box and we'll see what's in it.
Yeah.
Basically, it worked out. It had a banner, it had candy, it was fine, it worked out. They kept saying like, what kind of cake? I was like, I don't know, get her a sheet cake from Costco. I was like, she doesn't need anything fancy. We've already had the fancy cakes.
Yeah.
Just get her a sheet cake. And so they got her not a sheet cake from Costco. They got her a cheesecake mousse vanilla cake from Costco, which was delicious, but also not what I said. And I was like, that's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's
So
fine.
then we had the shower, and I mean, it was like minor, like they did like a gift card, like it was work.
Yeah.
But it was still like a half hour. That's probably spent an hour and a half doing shower stuff today between getting everything together, decorating, and then like
Yeah.
doing. And then she had all these feedback. So I'd have like lunch at my desk, which was stupid. Because usually I eat lunch in her office, whether she's there or not, because there's like a couch.
Yeah.
And so then I ate lunch at my desk, and that was dumb. And then she was chatting with me the rest of the day, and I was like, I gotta work because like the other girl called in. And so it's just like this insane day. Like Mondays are always a little bit insane at the office because all of the providers are getting their billing in. And like, so I was just like 90 to nothing, like reading billing sheets and like just trying to keep up. And I was like sending emails at 5:35. I was supposed to be leaving at 4:30. Like it was a long day. So then I was like, I gotta eat something.
Yeah.
And so usually I'll like stop on Clearview, but I was like, I just really don't want anything on Clearview because I'm gonna do Taco. We're going to Taco Bell on Tuesdays for the Tuesday drops. So I didn't want to go to Taco Bell because I'm probably go tomorrow.
Right.
And I just had Chick-fil-A last week, and so I didn't really want Chick-fil-A again today. Then I like didn't want any. You know what I wanted? 99-cent corn dogs. You know where they are? The other direction. So now that's all I'll think about for the rest of today.
Yeah.
So then I had to like scrounge and see what was like, what's fast in my house. All my cheese is bad. That was disappointing.
That is disappointing.
But Rachel, because she's not eating like deli meats and stuff, she had this like antipasto platter thing in her fridge that she's had. And she was like, take this, I can't look at it anymore. So I'm having meats. Having meats. And I have this like hummus thing from Aldi. So I'm having hummus. I'm having all the food groups.
Yeah.
And I just got this sweet chili mango dip from Nope, where is this one from? Aldi or Trader Joe's? This is Aldi.
Okay.
And it is so good. I don't know if you like mango. I don't know that there's like a chili seed. Like you might can have this.
I don't know.
I don't. But because I don't think there's anything that like.
Yeah, chili and mango is usually okay because they usually use chili powder.
It's chili garlic sauce. So toss up. I think the chunks are all mangoes that I've had so far though. But it is so good. It's one of those things you like take a bite of it and you're like, ooh, I don't know. And then you finish it.
In Thailand, when you buy a fresh mango, they also give you a bag with sugar and chili mixed and you dip your mango in it.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. And for Easter, like for every holiday, Dan's dad gets those like crystal sugar fruit slices. Have you ever seen those? The candy fruit slices? They're like gummy candies, but they're like cute little fruit slices.
I don't know, maybe.
You're looking at me very confused.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
confused.
which is really disappointing. Um, they like look like this.
Hmm. Nope.
They're like gummy candy. They're like gummy candies.
Okay.
They might be they're not only a local thing, but they might be a local thing, like
Like
in
a
terms
regional
of
thing.
like a regional thing. Yeah. So like they look like this and they're
Yeah.
all different
Mhm.
colors and all different flavors. And the one candy store near us does a lot of like really interesting flavors. So for Easter this year, he wanted to get as many of the interesting flavors as he could, and one of them was chili mango.
I love chili mango.
And it was delicious.
Mm.
Delicious. And everybody was like, "Oh, Mary Kate, you're gonna eat it." And I go, "You don't understand how I feel about mango chili. Like, it's fine." They're like, "But it's gonna be too hot for you." I go, "Uh-huh." And I'm gonna eat it and I'm gonna love it and I'm gonna cry while I'm doing it, but I am.
Yeah, I put tahini on everything
Yeah.
that's like citrusy fruit.
Yeah.
So like I'll put tahini on mango or like
Hmm.
oranges or whatever. That's my go-to. So it's a little bit lime too, which is usually not my go-to. There's just
Hmm.
something about tahini. It's just my fave. So yeah, I'm also in a weird place. I'm just like eating different foods, hoping for the best.
Well, hopefully you
Because
don't get food poisoning from them.
yeah, because last week I was sick, in between episodes, and then post. Hey, stop it. And then post episode, and then the next day. So I don't know what happened, but it
Yeah.
wasn't great.
And then I was sick all weekend, so we're doing
Yeah, so we're thriving.
super well.
So far today, neither of us has food poisoning today.
Correct.
Um, and so that's good. That's good news. Good news
Yeah.
bears. I don't have what else to say to start.
That's good.
So if you have some encouragement for me, that'd be dope.
Yeah, it's sort of encouraging, I think. It's not. No matter
Yeah.
how hard we try to ignore it or deny it, eventually the lies fall away, whether we like it or not. But here's the truth about the truth. It hurts, so we lie.
Excellent. Excellent news. Um, well, now that we've all been spiritually cleansed, let's talk about police. We are on season one, episode 3. It is called "Are You All Right?" Um,
And the answer is no. I'm
the
not.
answer is no. No one is all right.
No.
Except the kids. The kids are all right.
Yes, the kids are all right.
That's when I'm like, oh, maybe I feel like I'm 90. I'm not as old as I seem to be. Um, so it aired February 25th of 2021. It was rated 7.3 out of 10, so it's a little bit higher again. We're just like nudging up a little bit. Number one song is the same. Number
I'm
one
sorry,
movie
what
is
day in February did you say? The 20?
25th.
Okay.
The number one movie is Tom and Jerry. Totally forgot that movie came out. I never watched it.
I forgot that movie came out too.
Right? It was so under the radar. It's probably because of COVID.
Probably because of COVID, nothing that came out in
Yeah.
2020 or 2021 matters or
Right.
exists.
Well, and this is also like around the time that I started going back into the office again.
Mm.
And so like it was a mess. And then the number one book was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, which doesn't feel like it was 4 years ago. I haven't read it, but I do remember it being like the hit of the century when it came out. I've yet to read a Kristen Hanna book, but I'm sure they're lovely. I think they're too lovely for me. Like they're historical and like
Yeah.
emotional and like really thought provoking, and I don't have it in me for that right now. If it's not a thriller or a chick lit or even like romantasy
Yeah.
at this point, it's like a little off kilter for me lately. If it's not one of those genres though, I'm pretty much shot right now. Um, so on this day there was a huge Fukushima earthquake, which was that was the big news of the day. Um, and aside from COVID-19, because everyone's still dealing with that,
Yeah.
Afghanistan also had H5N8 bird flu epidemic at the time. And
Ooh.
then the Western Cape had African swine fever. So like everyone's falling apart, but like extra. Um, so that sucks.
Yeah.
Um, Unless I only have bad news for you.
Oh,
Last but certainly not least, this is the day that the U.S. gymnastics coach that was accused of
God.
sexual assault was found. He had committed suicide on the side of a highway, and this was that day. So only bad news.
Right.
You know how we like to set up
We
our
should.
episodes. What were you doing? Anything fun? Anything better?
My post on Facebook is just a picture of me and Brittany and Christelle with a cute caption from Brittany's birthday party that happened a couple weeks earlier. So no, not, I clearly was not doing anything other than just
Y'all
struggling.
were back in school though, weren't you?
Um, yes. So it was weird. Um, I don't know, the school year is weird. I think that might have been like, and we didn't have a big end of the year celebration the way we usually do. So that was probably like the last week of school was probably exams were happening then because exams were in the end of February, beginning of March.
Yeah, I remember y'all had like a weird pushed around schedule and everything.
Yeah, our schedule, the 2020-2021 school year was because of COVID very weird, like in timing. So I genuinely don't remember where I was at in the school year at that time. But it
Okay.
was it was pretty close to the end of my time in Thailand. We're getting
Yeah.
there. We're getting there. So pretty soon we're gonna get to the episodes where I'm coming home. So that's gonna be fun.
Exciting. That was an exciting time when you came home. And then I left. I moved away.
Yeah.
Um,
To be fair, I
but
came
you're
home to not where you were either. It was still too far away. So
no, but you're closer. And I saw you. I saw you shortly after your dad. You and your dad.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, y'all came down for something and we had breakfast.
Yes. That
I
was
don't remember why.
well,
Comic-Con maybe?
I do. It was a Comic-Con. We were on Long Island, yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
Um,
Um,
if my dad and I were somewhere for no reason, it was for a Comic-Con.
that was my assumption. I didn't have
Yeah.
a real memory, but that was my assumption. Um, I took a bite right before I was gonna talk. I don't know what's wrong with my brain.
I do
Um,
that all the time. I go to take a sip as I'm pressing record of on the podcast.
yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing?
Our director is still Doug Anikoski. Our writers are still Judy Lumet, Alex Kurtzman, Tess Leibowitz. However, this week we've added William Harper. He is known for A Small Light, which I don't know what it is, but it's on Hulu and it's advertised all the time to me. Um, Grace, Baker and the Beauty, which I've never watched, but I've always been like, if I watch this, I'm gonna love it.
What Baker and the Beauty? Which one
You'll
was that?
recognize it. And then Clarice. These are the things he's known for. And
I
he only did.
also I also didn't watch it.
I think I love it though.
I think I would hate it. I think I would hate
Mhm.
it. I think it's gonna be too cliche.
I think it's being super cheesy.
Super cheesy.
But see, and that's the thing is like I'm not like small town rom com. Like I didn't watch Virgin River. It's not for me. Sweet Magnolias. But you give me a cozy food story, sold. I'm in. I'm in. So that's just how it goes. And he's known for Clarice. So he only did 3 episodes of Clarice. So like he's just not really known for a lot. Um, and the only he like didn't have a picture. His name is William Ryan, William Harper, which is obviously not an uncommon name.
Right.
So the only other thing I could find about him was in season 15 of Grey's Anatomy, he played Ryan Shaw. So if you know that name, it was 1 episode, one time in season 15. Um, so
Um,
you look him up if you'd like, but
yeah.
that is all your information. Our editor is Bartholomew Bertram. His picture is a smiley face, also not very easy to find him anywhere, even though with the name, you'd think it'd be a little easier. No. He's known for Star Trek Section 31, The Gift, The Gifted, sorry, CSI Cyber, and Cobra Kai. So basically, if you're trying to make a remake of a nostalgia show,
Yeah.
this is your guy. This is your editor. Um, so makes sense that we bring him on for Clarice too. Um, And then our star of the week is Cal Penn, who I'm like 98% sure I haven't talked about before.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, Ryan Shaw played the therapist who finally got Owen Hunt to stop being a little bitch.
that's good. Good news.
Unfortunately, it is now season what, 22, and Owen Hunt
Yeah,
is
yeah.
still a
Right.
little bitch.
Sure, 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 sure.
I'm a couple episodes behind on Grey's Anatomy right now, and so
Oh my
I
God.
don't know. I don't know what's happening, but I do know in the last episode I watched, fucking no.
Oh, it's been like 3 or 4 seasons since I've got an update. You're gonna have to give me an update later about all I've missed.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone who's died.
let me just say, Owen and Teddy decided to have an open marriage because they were fighting so much. And then
I
Owen, or
don't think
then,
they were married last time we talked.
oh, well, they're married. Decided to have an open, well, they got married like 4 seasons ago.
Maybe I'm 5 seasons behind
Oh
then.
my
I
gosh.
don't I
But so
don't remember the
they
last
got
time we
married,
talked
they're
about.
married. They decided to have an open relationship because they were fighting too much and they needed to try to fix their marriage. And then, Teddy was hooking up with, Sophia Bush.
Sophia Bush is on Grays right now?
Yeah.
Like full
And
time or like as a guest?
as a guest. She's been in a couple episodes this season though.
Ooh.
And then Teddy was like, I can't do this. This is wrong. I feel like I'm cheating on my husband. Because Sophia Bush and her husband are in an open marriage. And so Teddy's like, not that kind of person. Meanwhile, guess what Owen's doing while she's telling
Also sleeping with Sophia Bush.
also no,
Tell me.
sleeping
Oh,
with his little sister's best friend from high school.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Because
The
he's
drama. Is
a
the
little
sister
bitch.
alive? Didn't we decide she's
Yes,
alive?
she's alive.
Okay.
She is alive. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but so basically Owen Hunt, still a bitch.
Love it. I love the drama. See, I don't have the energy and time to like watch this show. I watched probably 15 seasons, but I just don't have it in me.
I gotta say, the new interns for the last season or two, actually really good.
I just really like it when you tell me about it because then
Okay.
I get all the drama high notes.
Okay.
And it's really fun for me.
That's
Um,
perfect. But now let's talk about Cal Penn because you're right, we've never talked about him on the
yes,
podcast. Not that we both couldn't just like give you his entire filmography right now, but
sure.
but we've
So I was a
technically never talked
little
about him.
concerned because it was like you might know him from American Horror Story. And I was like, I don't think he's in the early seasons.
He's
He's not.
not.
He's in NYC, which is what I thought, but I was like, did I miss something? And I've already talked about him.
No.
So he plays Tripathi, and he of course is known for Harold and Kumar. So until we knew his name, I just called him Kumar.
Um, to be fair, when we watched the first episode, I looked at Dan and I go, oh, Kumar's in this episode.
I mean, that's like, I mean, I know I can name 10 other roles, but that is the
Yeah.
name I know him by.
Yeah.
He's also known for Van Wilder and House, which I always forget because I never watched House.
Oh, I was gonna say what? He was also a big character in House. If you weren't gonna say
Yeah.
House in the top three, I was gonna say House should be in the top three.
Right. So this like kind of making me lean towards watching. Like I've always wanted to watch House. I always
Oh,
thought I would like it.
you would love House.
Caitlin got really obsessed with it in college, and I just like never watched it. But I love him.
You would
And
love
I love
House.
I love Hugh Laurie. So like
Yeah.
I mean I would love it. Um but those are the things he's like known for. He's also, if you are a big How I Met Your Mother fan, he plays Kevin.
Yeah.
So that was that's a good time too for everyone. But I just adore him. I love him in everything he's in.
Yeah.
And so he's obviously a big name. Um, but unfortunately, there's not a huge amount of trivia about him, but I do have a couple of things. When he was in acting classes, his acting class just banned the word like entirely so that everyone had to be more creative.
I believe
So
it.
you just couldn't use the word like at all, which is like fair. Like if you're gonna pick a word to ban, that's probably a good one because it is way over. I way overuse it. So
Well, people use like as an interjection, like
right.
I just did. But also, I'm telling you, as someone who works with like developing language students, if I could never see a sentence that said I like ever again, I would be fine. When you're like, tell me about yourself, I like. Write a couple sentences about your weekend. I did. I went. I like they can't write sentences that don't start with the word letter I.
Yeah. I know, I know. Um, and then in 2008, he was an adjunct professor at UPenn, which I
Wow.
didn't realize. He taught like an Asian American theater class. I do not remember the full name of it, but that feels like enough information that if you wanted to know more, you could look into it.
Obsessed.
And he was in The Wiz in eighth grade. I don't think he's done theater. I wish he would.
Yes.
But I didn't see anything that said he had done
I was
theater.
gonna say,
So
I don't know if he has. I don't think he has.
yeah. But that is now on my list of things I'd like him to do. All right. So now we get into it and we start where all good places start in therapy. And the therapist is asking about Clarice's visit to Appalachia.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
sorry. I'm so sorry.
yeah,
You missed something kind of big about Cal Penn.
what did I miss?
On top of being an actor and an author and all of those fun things, he was a House staff member, a White
Oh,
House
I
staff
did. I
member.
did notice that. I didn't write that down. I'm sorry. I did. He was for Obama. That's why
Yeah,
he quit. Spoiler alert. I got a spoiler alert for House, but the
yeah,
reason he left the show the way he did was because he asked to leave to go be like a staffer at the White House, and they
yeah,
were like, okay, and then they
yeah,
removed him from the show.
yeah. He was the
Yeah.
associate director in the White House Office of Public Engagement.
hmm hmm He raised a lot of money too, and he raised a lot of money for something else recently. Yeah, he's like super into the politics stuff. Big guy in it. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he really has done any stage work.
I don't think so either. It's a real bummer. Um, yeah, so we're talking to the therapist about, and he's asking about Appalachia, and he's like, did it feel like going home? And she said it felt like work.
Yeah,
She's like, I was doing my job, so it felt like
yeah,
work.
right.
And then he started bringing up her dad, and she's like, and he died in the line of duty. Like these are
Yeah,
all things that are true facts, but now we're just stating facts. Like
right.
this is not necessary. And so then we start seeing that she went and visited Rebecca at the trauma center. I don't know exactly where she
Yeah, it
was
was it
staying.
was it was a hospital
Um,
trauma center. I don't know exactly
yes.
the name of it, but
Yeah, that's what I've gathered. So I was like, the trauma center. Um, and then we learned that the thing about the guy who killed her or was trying to kill her, Carl, he had like weird tendencies because he like told her basically he was going to kill her, and she knew that when he removed his mask, that meant he didn't care if she saw him because she wasn't going to live. But then like when he went to tell her to get undressed, he like looked away, and so like he didn't watch. So he had some kind of like sense of morality that isn't common in serial killers. Um, and she starts telling him, she said she'll testify and she'll give all of this information, but she won't do it until the big people are
yeah.
called. She's like, I like he's not the end of the line. And so if
Yeah.
he's the only one you have, I can't give you anything yet.
I gotta say,
Um,
these two episodes did blend together a little bit for me because I watched them
yeah.
back to back.
I
So
did too. So we'll see how that goes.
I was like, so if I
That's
don't if I'm not commenting a lot, it's because I don't remember if the thing I'm thinking happened in this episode or not.
that's totally fair. That's totally fair. The same. I just happen to have notes to go off of, so to
Right.
lead me down the right path. Um, And uh, so then the therapist, Rebecca therapist, he starts telling her, and she has to talk to Hill, and she this whole time she starts seeing like a moth climbing around her hand, so she's not responding, obviously.
Yeah.
And he starts telling her, he's like, your perceptions aren't as strong as you think they are, and then we hop over to the FBI, and we're in Agent Map's office, who's our Delia, but they call her Map, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm calling her. Um, and there's a guy, I don't know his name. I never got his name. Thought I would have had it by the end. I don't. But one of her coworkers brings all of the discovery to go to, and it turns out she's in the cold case unit. And so she's having to go through like all of these cold cases, and just kind of parse through what she can.
Yeah.
Um, and he starts asking her, yep, God, that is a word that I've written. He just starts asking her some questions about some stuff about where she's at. And he's like, so also like, what do you have going on like later, whatever. Like he asked her about like a social outing thing.
That was in
And
this episode?
yeah.
Wow.
And oh, no. This is not the same one. So she's
Okay.
going through the cloak and he starts asking her like different like oh, he asked if she's a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the word I couldn't read.
Um,
And she's like, please don't ask me social questions. Like this is not a personal situation. I
yes.
am at work,
Okay.
you're at work. We're not crossing boundaries.
Yes, I
Um,
do remember that. Okay.
yeah, I just couldn't read the word Sagittarius. So I had to guess what she was telling me had boundaries about. And so then we go to the AG, who's this like oversight committee. Um, and he starts asking her about quote unquote her task force. Because we learned that she's the one who put VICAP together
Yeah.
because of everything that happened with Catherine, which like makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, like VICAP pretty important, like in general cap. So like not really that big of a deal that she put it together.
Yeah.
Um, and he starts acting like she's just like doing too much. He's like, why are we like doing all of these things? Like, we don't need all this manpower focus on this. Like, just do your job, basically.
Mhm.
Um, and she starts bringing it up. She's like, well, what if this was your kid? And she goes into like detail about what happened. And like, as soon as she said it, you could see that she regretted it.
Yeah, well, because then also immediately cameras start flashing in her face, and like that
Yeah,
doesn't feel like the normal amount of press for a small government oversight hearing.
right, right.
Well,
Um,
okay, no, it does in 2025, but
sure, sure. But also, like, once they start flashing, that means that something's happening.
yeah.
And so then we go to the VICAP interview. So they're reviewing Carl, his name is Carl Willig, his file. And we've learned he's waived his rights to an attorney, which he had said like he wanted to talk when she found him, but we didn't
Yeah.
really get a lot of that scene. So
Yes.
now we're
I
getting
did I
more
did like that
detail.
we went back to that story. Like we
Yeah,
had a what episode 2 was kind of like to get her more secure in the FBI, but like we're not done with the actual story, and so we went back
right.
to it. And I like
Yeah.
that.
I like that too. Because I mean our overarching arc here is the like conspiracy of everything and like this
Yeah.
big bad. And so we gotta like figure out what's going on. And so so Chandler decides he's gonna bring Clarice into the interview. He's like, he talks to you, so we're gonna go in together and talk to him.
Hmm.
And immediately Carl takes his statement back. And he says he didn't kill anyone, he didn't want to deal, he never said that to her. That's just, she must have misunderstood or she must have made it up to look good. He says he's just a handyman, he just happened to be there at the wrong time. Like, it is what it is. We also learned that he's a Marine sniper, which we knew he was a sharpshooter of sorts because of Escobar's description of the scene.
But yes, but
Um,
now we know he's a Marine.
right. And we also learned that there were like, we know there were bite marks on all the victims, and Krendler decided you know to match the bite. And so they're sending off um, his like imprint along with like what we've gotten with the crime scenes to see if they match. So we go back to the AG. Man, excuse me. We go back to the AG, and she's telling Krendler that he just has to convict someone. She's like, they're on my case. Like, I look hysterical now. Like,
And like that,
just
fuck you for being like, I did a bad job at doing my job, so now I want you to do a bad job at doing your job
right
to cover up the
to make
fact that
everyone
I
look
did a
better.
bad job.
Yeah. Um, and so he says that it may take time, and like we can't just do this like overnight. Like we're working through some stuff.
And she
And
was
then
like,
she
well, we
starts
don't
saying
have
like,
time.
yeah. And then she starts saying like, when will she come back to me? And he's like, she's already back. She's alive. Like she may not emotionally be there, but she is physically there. That
Yeah.
might be what you get. And so the AG says, offer Carl whatever you need to. I'll make it happen. Um, and so then we go back to Carl and Clarice, and he is still maintaining that he didn't ask for a deal.
Yeah.
And so Matt starts telling Clarice, she's like, why don't you just come to cold cases? Come over here and use your talents for this.
Right.
And then she says she said, this is not what I was gonna do. I'm just gonna quit all of my jobs and just sell like orange soda and ramen. I was like, bro, I feel that some days. Like,
Absolutely.
I get it. So we go to the AG's house, and she's getting home to Catherine, who's just like running herself ragged. She is like clearly been working out constantly. She's like skin and bones. The dog is barking like a maniac. And it's just like everything is chaos.
Yeah.
And then we go back to VICAP, and they're trying to find a way to close the case. So this is where we first start getting Therese talking about his strict moral code. So we mentioned how he like would turn away whenever she was undressing and everything. And so she's like, he has a strict moral code with women. We
Yeah.
need to find like kind of the limits of where it goes. And so because he feels this way about women and everything, she's kind of like taking a step back. And Cridler says like he's going to take Escobar to go interview, so maybe they can at least get the like sharpshooter,
Yeah.
um, and he tells Escobar to play bad cop basically. And so Paul pretends like they already have him on Rebecca. They're like, we have all of this evidence. We have evidence that you raped her, that you tried to kill her. Like, you may as well just come clean. And he starts asking about like raping the women, and like you can see that he's clearly not okay with it.
Yeah.
Like
He's
that's
very
like
it's like he will sit there and take whatever you throw at him, but then they start saying he did something like he desecrated the women, and he is like visibly uncomfortable.
right. And so we get Escobar playing like bad cop, and he is just like after, and Paul's like, oh, no, take a step back, like don't get too crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then his lawyer arrives. We already know that he didn't ask for a lawyer, that he doesn't want one. So now we're like, who is this guy? Like, is the big they coming to like just give him a lawyer that he doesn't want to talk him out of this to make sure he doesn't talk? But he starts telling them that he's like, I never raped anyone. And he starts tripping up by saying that they were found in the water, because they never mentioned to him that the first two women were found in the water.
Yeah.
And this is where Paul offers him murder too. Okay, this is my first big gripe. This woman says, offer him anything and go from there. You offer murder too? Like, that's your first stop?
Well,
like, I'm thinking you could get way easier, because also you work with him. You might can still find these people afterward, but you might can still say your case is closed and keep looking. Like,
yes, but you start with murder too. You start with something that is still going to be to the general public a justifiable punishment. Because if he caves, then you win and he wins, and the public wins and the AG wins.
But here's the thing.
But then if you have to keep going, then you offer something better.
But here's the thing with this guy in particular. Like, we've already know that he's skittish. We already know that he's like he's a sharpshooter. He's been in the military. He's not one to go back and forth. He's not one for playing games. You should have started with manslaughter. You should have started with like wrong time, wrong place, because it doesn't matter what you give him, because you all know it wasn't him. At this point, you all know he didn't kill these women. And so why are you offering him murder?
They know he didn't necessarily. No, he did. He killed them.
They know that he was a hitman, but they know that he's not this guy.
He's not behind the conspiracy. He is not a serial killer. He is not a master manipulator. However, he is a hitman. He did still murder 3 women.
Sure. But if you know your book, so here's the thing. I'm a little bit biased because of an episode of podcast I listened to today. So I've been listening to what is it, Small Town Dicks, and it's all the like old police officers and detectives. Like Paul Holes is on it right now. And one of the guys was talking about one of his cases, and he was like, we've been trying to get these like two big people. And so we gave the hitman immediate immunity, never goes to jail, never gets anything, and he turned on everyone. And he was the only link. Now, the issue is this guy doesn't know everything. He knows enough, but doesn't know everything. So I
Yeah.
don't think you can give him full immunity because he doesn't have a game plan.
Right.
However, I feel like coming out with murder two for someone like this is too strong because he knows he's not going to do well, especially in Gen Pop. He's not going to do well because they're going to find him. So if he goes to jail at all and he's not in any type of protection, they're going to kill him.
Here's the
And
thing.
he knows that.
I don't think he does. I think Krenler is naive to how
Oh, no,
bad.
I was saying the Carl knows that.
Oh,
and so he's
okay.
not going to accept anything. And I think that Clarice understands that.
Yes. No. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about why Krenler offered that. I think
Well, I
Krenler.
still think that was too high. I think he should have started with like manslaughter.
Okay, and that's fair. Maybe it was too high, but I think obviously Willard's not taking anything until he can
Right.
get safety.
Right.
Krenler, on the other hand, he has to start big and move down.
But he doesn't know that that's the only option. He doesn't know the only option is protection, basically.
Right. No, Krenler's like, how do I punish this man enough to make the AG and the general public happy, but also get what I need for the conspiracy? And so he starts with a reasonable middle ground. He's going to have to keep cutting away until he gets to an actual deal.
Well, and that's where my issue lies because he knows he's on a timeline and she wants this done like fast, which means you should start smaller if you wanted it done faster. Because starting murder, you know you're gonna have to work your way down.
I think it's a matter of how far are you going to work your way down. Like, you know what I mean? I get what you're saying. I do think it could have been a little bit lower, but I don't completely not understand Kremler's motivation for starting where he started.
I think Prindler, I understand like him in general.
Yeah.
I just think that he should have thought more or like discussed it more or something.
I mean,
as opposed to just throwing it out there.
He's clearly being bullied by
by the AG.
The AG who
what
did I say? I said she's like,
I don't know.
What you're talking about. Because last week or the first week I was talking about how she's clearly, or no, it was also last week. I was talking about the fact that she's not a villain, but she's clearly an antagonist. Mm-hmm. I think she is like malevolently neglectful.
Mm-hmm. Well, because she just cares about her position, especially because there's constantly new things coming up. So as long as she looks good, that's all she cares.
Yeah.
Which is also surprising because her daughter was a victim.
Which is so funny. So my ninth grade English class right now is writing a text analysis essay on Romeo and Juliet, and one of the themes that they were allowed to pick from for like their opinion on this text was tragedy can be prevented if people make good choices. Like, and the opposite coin, they could do fate is unavoidable. Like, so those were the two things that they had to pick out.
Those are fun.
Yeah. And so my one girl, she's doing the tragedy side. And I said, okay, so like what character? I was like, so now do you want to focus on character or conflict? And she was like, character. Like, character is better. I go, okay. So then you have to pick up a character to focus on if you're going to do that. I said, so what character makes bad choices? And she goes, all of them. And she said, all of them. I go, okay. Which character's bad choices are going to make easiest essay writing?
Yes, that is the true question.
She was like, Romeo. I said, done. Mm-hmm. Let's write an essay about Romeo. But she was like, no one made a good choice. None of them. Mm-hmm. I was like, you're right. You're right.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And the AG also has not made a good choice. And Krenler, unfortunately, Krenler's like the Friar Lawrence of the thing because he's trying to make good choices, but he's not quite doing it.
He's not quite doing it, yeah. Yeah. So then we go back to the AG's house and Catherine is working out again and she's like working out too hard and she's not eating, we learn. And so Ruth is trying to get her to eat. She's trying to get her to take Precious outside. And this is where I learned she's not leaving the house at all. Like
not even to go to her own backyard.
Yeah. And like, otherwise Ruth is taking the dog out if it goes out at all. And so she's like, it's fine. I'll just keep her in my room. Like, it'll just be this. And she's like, I'll go out with you. And she's like, no, absolutely not. And like slams the door.
Yeah.
Now we're back at VICAP. And one of the officers at BPD brought sandwiches. And he specifically said one for Carl. If we didn't all know at this moment that someone was trying to poison Carl, I don't know how
I
much
didn't
more obvious.
recognize at first that someone was trying to poison Carl. But I did understand that there was nothing on the up and up about that police officer and how
Sure.
creepy he was to Clarice.
For sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, and I know they try, I feel like this show, I like it. I like it. I think the seven range is fine for me though, because I feel like it's pretty formulaic so far. And I I feel
Yeah,
like I see what's happening as it's happening. Like, and I
yeah,
don't have a lot of stuff that's like, oh, I'm shocked that that's the way it went. Like, which I mean, you don't have to. It's a cop show. You
no,
don't have to have that, but it is something I like. Um,
yeah,
and so like as soon as he said no, I was like, oh, that's they're gonna go to the typical trope of someone broke into the police station is now trying to poison Carl. Like
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah.
uses a lot of like cliche tropes and like not in a bad way. Like it does them fine. They're just the
Cliche
same trope I've seen
tropes.
7,000 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then, but I mean, and they did try to cover it up by just being like, oh, he's just a jerk because now he's like hitting on Clarice for a bet. Like, so maybe that'll distract you from the fact that he's also trying to poison
And
Carl.
it didn't just, I mean, it did distract me from what exactly was happening. I knew there was something sketchy going on. Um, but it distracted me from what was happening in the sense that I didn't catch who he said the separate bag was for. To be honest,
Okay.
I didn't catch the name when he said that, which is why I didn't pick up what was happening.
Right.
I did catch the fact that he was super creepy
Super shady.
and did not belong there and wasn't like I knew he wasn't a real police officer. He gave me that.
I didn't know if he wasn't a real police officer, but it's because I don't know how far this company is in. And so I didn't know if they had like bought out police officers. It's also very common. So I didn't know if he
Yeah.
was not a real officer or if he was just in the pocket of these people.
He didn't feel like a real police officer in the way he stood and the
Yeah.
way he dressed, and I didn't know if
Mhm.
that was a
That is true.
we're trying to go back to like the chillness of the 90s.
Right.
Because like if you've ever watched NYPD Blue, the cops are like real unnecessarily like casual sometimes. Um but or if it was like a this guy has no idea how to wear a police jacket, but like his outfit was too big, his hat didn't fit, he was creepy
Yeah.
the way he was standing. I was like, he's not a police officer.
Yeah.
Didn't understand that I thought he was trying to kill Clarice, not Willard, but I knew he wasn't a police
Fair.
officer.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't sure, but I knew he wasn't right. I
Yeah.
knew he was trying to kill Carl. So like this isn't good. And so then we get a call from Map and she says that the bite marks don't match, which is a real bummer to our
That
case.
was actually the one time that I was a little bit shocked.
I was surprised, but I was like, also, I mean, when it's been in water, both of these bodies have been in water, and these people can manipulate different things. Or you think about, and this is where I went back to like Hannibal. There's some people that like put in fake teeth. Like I was like, what if they have like animal masks or whatever? Like we've had so
Right.
much of that
No, no,
happen.
no. It didn't it once they said that, I had a checklist of the reasons why it could be not true.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
But when she was like, I just opened the file and the bite marks don't match. I was like,
Mhm.
what? That was
Yeah.
the first time that I was like, oh. And then I
Mhm.
immediately figured out where they could go next with it. But it
Right.
was the first time that I was like, huh,
That
okay.
doesn't immediately line up with what I was
What I thought was
anticipating.
gonna happen. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's totally fair. Um, yeah, and so then we go back to Escal and he's like, he really doesn't think he's gonna talk. Um, he's like, I don't think it makes sense for me to keep trying to talk to him. Like, nothing, there's nothing I could do. And Clarice really thinks that he will be able to break through because they're both snipers. And I was like, that's fair, but you can't play bad cop as a sniper. Like, you need to get back on
You
his
need to,
side if you're
yeah,
gonna do that.
you need to be the we're the same person. Is this when no, 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 no. I was thinking of the next thing that she
Mhm.
figures out, but it's from this interview. It's not before this interview. Okay.
Yeah. So then we go into the interview and Escobar's talking to him and he gives him his lunch and everything. And he won't drink the root beer. He says he doesn't like root beer, he only drinks water. He said, this is just what it was. And he also says, he was like, this is kind of a weird position we're in because anywhere else we're brothers. But now we're in this like weird situation where you're on that side, I'm on this side. Um, and then Escobar kind of tries to like get back in his good graces and starts telling him stories of like war times and how he like shot people. And he's like, I know
Oh,
that like when you shoot people, you don't hold on to the people you saved, you hold on to the people that you had to shoot.
I
And
remember
he's
he's
like, and
telling that
it's
story when Krenler's like, oh my God, he's not making any of this up. Like that moment was really sad. Also, I'm really hot and I went to take my sweater off and then realized I'm wearing corded headphones.
I was wondering what your damage was because you were really struggling. It's okay. We only have a few more pages left, like a couple.
Where
So
am I? My Hong Kong
oh,
Disneyland scarf.
yeah, your scarf, your neck will be so warm.
Oh my God.
Um, and so then he starts talking about. He was like, I know what it feels like I'm nothing here now. Like I'm not the top guy anymore. I'm not the guy who goes out there and makes things happen. Like it's tough. And then
Yeah.
Paul comes back in, um, and he's talking. He was like, "We got to push the lawyer stuff." Or I think Clarice said we have to push the lawyer stuff.
Yeah.
And so he goes back in, and he's like, "We've talked to the lawyer. Like, we're gonna just have to do this. We're just gonna have to bring the lawyer in. He says he's here for you because next thing you know, we're gonna turn around and we're gonna start saying that we you didn't waive your rights, and so we violated it all, and then everything is scrapped." And he's panicked.
Yeah.
Um, and so then we go, this is where I didn't know Tripathi's name. And so Tripathi starts asking about, um, so he starts asking the lawyer, he's like, so what's your bar number? Like, where did you go to school? Like, what is going on? And the guy's not giving him anything. And then he just takes off. He just jets. And I was like, that's not suspicious at all.
No, when Carl
No.
panicked when they said the lawyer was there, that's when
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh well,
I'm
obviously.
doing stuff. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
I was like, when Carl panicked that there was a lawyer there, I go, that's the other guy on the inside. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. And so then Clarice starts telling Escobar that he was really smart in the way he handled that. Um, and she said that he like this is where they talked about how he carries the people that he killed, not the people that he saved. Um, and she also said that he's not talking because he thinks that they're compromised. And she
Yeah.
learned that from this interview.
Yes.
Um,
She figured that out.
yeah.
Does she
He
tell, is this
was
when she tells Krenler that too, that she
yeah.
thinks, and that Krenler's interview where he went back on what Clarice said is why he won't talk to them because he thinks that Krenler was bought out by the people
Yeah.
who hired him.
This is a little bit later, but it is still
It's because,
relevant.
yeah.
Yeah, it is because of this.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then they go back, Matt goes back and they start talking about the bite marks again. And
Yeah.
she's like, I think there's something else going on here. And so then we're back at VICAP and Patty starts talking about the lawyer. Paul said, and this is where Paul says to keep using the lawyer. This story says it'll like coercion without the lawyer. And so then he backs down again. He offers concurrent sentences outright outside of Gen Pop. And I was like, okay, he's getting it. He needs to be protected. He needs to not be around others because he's concerned. Yeah. And I was like, this feels like a better offer.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Matt, and she says, this is where she says it turns out it's a dental mold. And it matches exactly like what was it like whatever
The standard, like the standard dental mold, yeah.
And then so Clarice is talking to Pridler about this and he doesn't want to listen. He's like just completely not acknowledging what she's saying. And he goes to go into his office and she sees a moth in her cup and just like throws her cup. And he's like, was that aimed at me? And she's like, not at all. Not at all. And this is where he's like, you may need to like take a step back. Like, we can't have you having these like outbursts or whatever. And this is where she tells him about the retracted statement and how it affected everything. And she starts telling Carl that he thinks that she's the weak link. And then Paul says he may agree. And so he sends her back in. It's like to negotiate. So now she's in the interview room again with Carl, and she offers him witness protection.
Yeah.
She's like, I know that it's not just about being out of Gen Pop, like you need full, Witsite program. And so she offers him witness protection. Um, and then she starts showing him the pics of all the women. She shows him the dental model.
Yeah.
And she's like, you don't seem like the type to desecrate this, like to desecrate people. This is what's happened here.
Yeah.
And he tells her that she's the straightest shooter that they have. And so, like, he obviously likes talking to her best. And she says, you follow your orders, and killing is killing. That's fine. Like, that's part of being, like, in the military sometimes too. She was like, but you don't desecrate people. That's not part of your orders.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about how his dad would drink root beer and how much he hated it. And he just picked it up and shoved it.
But when he started picking it up, I was like, no.
I know, I was like, oh, it's the root beer that's laced. That's what I thought. 'Cause at first I thought it was the sandwich because he like made a point to say like the sandwich is for Carl or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was a sandwich, but as soon as he picked up the root beer, I was like, that's the thing that's laced.
Yeah.
And so we learned that this group that he was working for was a completely new group. It's not someone he's worked for before, and they wanted like weird details. He was like, they wanted like pictures, and they wanted this and that. And he's like, no one's ever asked for me. They've just asked me to go kill and be done. Like just typical hitman stuff.
Yeah.
And then in the midst, he falls over and starts foaming at the mouth. And Paul said he's having a stroke. And they're calling the EMTs. They're trying to lock down the building. And Clarice says, make sure you detain the cops because now she's having a flashback.
Yeah.
To the not real cop that came through. And then by watching footage and by thinking it through, we see that like the lawyer and the cop came in together.
So did we miss the part where the lawyer ran away and jumped out the window?
Yeah, I said that. I said he jetted. I don't know if that was because of the way I said it.
Got it.
But yeah, that happened. And then Tripathi came back and was like telling them about it.
Got it. Yes.
And so we learned that the lawyer was a Trojan horse to get the non-cop in.
Yeah.
And I was like, BICAP is also meant to be locked down, but now Clarice thinks that they've gone after Rebecca, so like they also bolt. And she finds that she's gone missing with an I'm sorry note. And so she doesn't know if she's like run off or if she doesn't say all of these words. This is my brain now. She says there's a note that says, I'm sorry, she just left. But it's also possible she was taken.
Correct. I for sure thought she was taken.
Yeah. I mean, I still do. I know there's some other stuff that happens, but I still think she was taken.
Oh, no, I do too. I do too.
So we learned that the root beer was laced with methyl iodide, which I meant to look up more about what that meant. I didn't. So here we are. But there was methyl iodide in her home. And they start talking about it. And Paul finally tells Clarice that the conspiracy track was right. He was like, this is how things are supposed to be going.
Wait, who's home?
At Rebecca's.
Oh. I thought
this is later. This is later. I'm sorry.
I was like, no, that doesn't happen.
I've jumped ahead.
I was like,
that's why.
Yeah, I was like, that's
I can't write all my notes too close together.
I was like, that didn't happen in this episode.
JK, pretend like I never said that.
Okay.
So we go back to the AG's house, and this is where Catherine's watching the earlier interview with Oversight. Yes. And she sees the things that her mom is saying, and this is all the stuff that obviously Ruth knew was going to be like harmful for her to hear and hurtful. Yeah. And so Ruth just kind of gives in, and she's like, I'll take Precious out. And like, she knows it's kind of like, oh, from there. And so then we go back to therapy because we always close where we start. And he's telling her that he's like, we all want to close doors on stuff. But if we close doors on stuff that haven't worked out, like it's always going to come out. And she tells him that she's ready to talk. She's like, you're right. I need to get through this. I'm ready to talk about this. However, you're gaslighting me. I'm not talking to you. You're a bad therapist. I'm going to find someone new. And that's where we end this episode.
Yep.
And good riddance. Um,
Yes.
I don't have any trivia or anything.
That's
Nothing
fine.
fun. So what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Um, yeah, everybody's gonna die.
Everybody's gonna die. It was a little dramatic.
These people are fucked up, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
That little scrawny boy who played the police officer reminded me of Stan Shunpike in Harry Potter,
Mhm.
and I don't think it's the same person.
I don't think it is either. I didn't look up who he was because I mean, we're still going through obviously the
The main cast.
main cast since it's just the one
Um,
season.
but he gave me the creeps, and it is almost definitely not the same person because this guy is British.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely not the same person, but Baltimore cop, that's who he plays. He is known for he's in The Time Traveler's Wife.
Hmm.
And he was in 11/22/63. I didn't watch that, but didn't you watch that?
I sure did.
Yeah, he's one of the officers.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's in V Wars, if you ever watched that. I never watched that either.
Me neither.
But he plays Hunter number two, so I don't know that you would know him from there.
No, no, no,
No.
no.
And he's in
Um,
like an episode of Suits.
however, the guy who plays Stan Shunpike is Bob in the new Bob the Builder show.
There's a new Bob the Builder show?
It it's like CGI. It's not 2D animation anymore. It's like 3D
Oh.
animation, and Bob is like weirdly AI cartoon hunky, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Oh,
I
I don't
hate
like
it. I
that.
hate it.
I don't like
Um,
that.
but I didn't know Stan Shunpike was Bob the Builder, so
That I like. That I like that part.
yeah, I'm cool with that part. No, I don't know. It's hard to have like because we've already watched the next episode, it's hard to have like
Like
prediction thoughts of where I
predictabilities,
think it's
yeah.
gonna go. But I do like that the team's like coming together and they're kind of all on the same page and that they're like actually becoming a team now.
Yeah.
I like that it's not just case of the week, that there is a through
Mhm.
line. But I do feel that it is a little bit too, there's not a lot of out of the box stuff happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I worry that that's what's going to be like,
the
that's what the
downfall of the
downfall
show.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is especially coming off of like, I mean, you're coming off of Hannah, which I know was 2016 was the last season or 2015. So it's
Yeah.
been like 6 years, but like at the same time, that's the legacy you're living off of,
Right. And I
and
and
you're
I
not coming
understand
out swinging.
and I understand that the direction of the show, the premise of the show, I understand that they're two different worlds. Like they
Mhm.
are very truly. But post COVID, people did not have the attention span for formulaic. We
Mhm.
wanted Tiger King. We wanted like Love on the Spectrum, like Love
Yeah.
is Blind. We wanted things that were going to make us not feel or think. Um, and we
We
wanted,
wanted things that were like in our face, like New Black Mirror and You and stuff like that.
yes,
Like,
yeah, we either wanted to turn our brains off or to turn our brains into hyperdrive. The like
yeah,
the only shows that had that formulaic aspect that lasted were shows that had a legacy, like that had years and
like
years
Blue
and years
Bloods.
behind them. Right, like Blue Bloods, NCIS, Grey's Anatomy, things that had years and years and years of fan
Yeah,
base behind them. And then you did have some like random things that did last that were newer, but like they had star power or better writing. Like
yeah,
it's hard, it's hard to try to do something new in a time, but that isn't new in a time period where people really need comfort or new.
right.
Um, so I do think that that's part of the problem. I don't hate it, but I don't, and I'm like, I'm enjoying the characters, I'm enjoying the storytelling, but I don't feel compelled by it
Yeah,
in a way that would have kept me watching in 2021.
right. Like if this came out like today, I probably would. have
not
been
watch
more
it.
intrigued. Oh, I probably would have watched it.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, but I'm more in like a sub, which this is me. This isn't everyone, I don't think at this time. But
Yeah.
like I'm, studying for the bar. I'm working
Mm.
73 jobs. Like I need something that like I want something new every week that even if it's a little formulaic, like I'm okay with that. Like I've been watching Good American Family. It's not great, to be fair. Kind of sucks. But it's consistent. I know what's gonna happen because I know the story of Natalia Grace already. Like it's
Yeah.
all stuff that like I get and I like the characters. I love Marta Plass. You could have been anything, I'm gonna watch it probably. Um and so
Yeah.
like
And I think
this,
I'm in a different headspace. I'm like,
right.
I don't watch a lot of TV anymore now that I'm married, and part of that is who was I on the phone with yesterday? Oh, I was on the phone with Brianna, my sister, yesterday. And I was like, this is what I do not understand. I pay the electric bill. I pay the Wi-Fi. I pay for the YouTube premium. I pay for all of the streaming services, and it's my Samsung account that is on our TV. Why am I never in charge of the TV?
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
I'm about to start giving him toddler TV
And like
limits.
put timeouts on it and
Yeah.
put locks on.
But mostly either we watch things together or I'm not watching TV. So it has to
Yeah.
be something that he's gonna also be into, or that like I can justify forcing him to watch with me. And I don't know that this would be it, which doesn't mean I wouldn't want to watch it. It just means I wouldn't watch it, if that
Right.
makes
Well, and
sense.
that's the thing is like I think like Hunting Party is kind of like a new serial killer show, and I really liked it. And then like Grosse Point Garden Society, I think it's going off the air. I think it's about to get canceled because it switched from like it was like a Monday or Tuesday night show to like a Friday night show. And that's a
Mm.
real bummer.
The
But I mean it
only,
hasn't had rave reviews, and I think it's a little more on par with like where the show is at, where
yeah,
like it's got stars per se, like but the biggest person in it I think is uh oh my gosh, what's her name? Uh I can't even think of her name, but one of the girls, the girl from Brooklyn Nine-Nine plays Amy. And
okay.
oh my gosh, she was a child actor. Um Gross White. Um but it's like so it's got like people but not like huge star power.
Yeah.
And so it feels very much on a similar Anna Sophia Robb.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, so it feels very like similar vibes, and it's like a mystery and like kind of drama
Yeah.
mystery. Um, and so, I'm loving that. I think I would have watched this now, but I don't think I would have watched this then. I mean, I didn't watch this then, and I knew it was out. So
Yeah. No, I
it's out.
the only show that we watch is The Rookie. It's literally the only like modern show that we watch every week.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, well, we could talk about shows forever. Obviously, that's what this podcast is about. But in the meantime, if you have any thoughts, feelings, if you watched this when it came out and you want to tell us how it was then and how it is now, love to hear a comparison. You can email us deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on all of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can find me at CECloud13.
and you can follow me everywhere at
Oh,
EMKAY_superstar. But
and who do you want to
first,
punch?
but first, before you follow us, I would like to punch the skinny cop man.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good one.
He
That's a
is
good one.
not actually my first choice, but
Mhm.
after talking about him, I'm now angry about him. So
Sure.
he was not my first choice though.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna pick who's probably your first choice. I'm gonna go with the AG.
Yeah, that was my first choice.
Yeah, because she really pissed me off and she's really not doing very good. She's trying to make a name for herself and not, uphold the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah,
You
cool,
know.
cool, cool.
So who's your MVP?
Clarice.
Yeah, that's fair. Clarice is a good choice. I'm gonna go with Escalal because of his heartwarming story
Yeah,
about the military and whatnot.
yeah,
Um,
valid.
anyways, well, you can find us all those places. And
Yeah.
we've told you now.
Yeah.
We've just skipped some things around. But we will see you on Thursday. Nope, this is Thursday. Hello, today is
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
We will see you on Sunday for Sci-Fi Sunday.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.